Hi, I'm Seamless, and today is Friday, which means it's time for a new How to Bass. And today I'll be showing you how to make this sound. This is another kind of citrusy bandpass bass, but with a couple of interesting little tweaks. As you can tell, I kind of like this sound, this sort of style of sound, using the ring modulation to create movement. But I've actually done two ring modulation, and one of them is modulating the other one. And I'll explain what's up with that in a second. I'd like to take a moment to say that on March 18th, I'll be releasing my first actual full-on original EP release. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. If you want to know more about that, you can follow me on Facebook to get more news and stuff. As time progresses, there'll be more announcements and previews and links and all kinds of good stuff. So you can keep your eyes up for that. It'll be a good time. Anyway, this sound. So I think the last three how to basses have been pretty much the same thing, where I'm modulating the output operator, which is operator 1 in this case, and a sine wave, by some sound in operator 2. It doesn't really matter what it is, because it's going to be ring modulated, so that only part of the waveform actually happens. So if I get rid of 4 here, we get a pretty regular sound that we've been having for a while. But when I put it in 4, suddenly there's that. And what's up with that? So basically what's happening is that I'm using operator 4 as kind of the same thing. As you see, the shapes are kind of related, but this one has a much higher pitch. Well, not much higher, it's higher. But the reason for this is because when the ring modulation is not the same speed as the main pitch, it'll move in the waveform. I can actually demonstrate this by looking at. Actually, stuff's all distorted because of the whole signal chain. So let's actually look at what this thing sounds like dry. Kind of painful. What that sounds like. Okay. So now look at the little waveform window up top here. You can actually see the ring modulation at work here, because we have just a bare sine wave, which will be what this sounds like, and also I'm layering another one to reinforce the sound. And then we also have the actual sound, the actual FM coming through. I'm actually going to show this with a wave cannon. You can just make it more obvious. Let's update on E. You should be able to see that. Yes, I think you can. Okay. So here we see a sine wave on half of the individual period of the waveform, and then we see some stuff going on. Now that stuff that's going on is actually the result of the FM, because we're ring modulating the FM on and off. So the FM is on and off during particular parts of the waveform. So and the reason why it's moving right now is because that ring modulation is also slightly off pitch. When it's on pitch, it doesn't move at all. When I moved it up the ratio just 1/100th or 1,000th rather of the ratio. It moves a little bit, and if I were to put it up a lot, like, it would move through the waveform like that. So that's pretty much what the other guy is doing. What operator 4 is doing to operator 3. It's moving through operator 3, which is just this shape here. So it's just going to turn on and off rhythmically like that. And how fast it is determined by how far off the original pitch it is. I'm not actually using it, but if you want to, you can route the pitch of this operator to, let's say, mod Y. I also did it to this guy, but I don't actually want to do that here. So that if I wanted to, we could say, let's put this back to the original pitch. Middle clicking does not do that because I have it set to 0.25 instead of just 2. And then operator or modifier Y will allow you to change the speed. Now, what's really cool about doing what's essentially volume automation like this is that its speed is determined by the pitch. So the higher it goes, the faster it goes. So it's more like an original Reese like that, because that's how Reese sounds work. Nice. So now let's go back and put this into the correct actual signal chain. I don't think this wave shaper is doing anything. Nope, it's totally not. The signal chain is actually not super important, because the real point of this particular how to base is this idea of ring modulating the ring modulation so that you get this rhythmic resound. But this is like how I've done the last couple of how to bases. I got a bandpass. By the way, if you're wondering how you automate this, it's these knobs over here. You can manipulate any individual node like this, but there's also a parameter on the side that determines all the actual things, including up here where you can determine the type of the node itself. So you can actually access all of everything you do here over here, including the order, how sharp it is, and the type, like I just said. But I'm automating this parameter to create the bandpass movement. And then I have a flanger on just to create some pitch variation. And then I'm just for fun, I'm doing I am distorting the sound, but I'm doing it through turning Maximus into a wave shaper. And the way that you do this is you take whatever band you're gonna do it on, which in this case I did the mid band, and you turn off all the time-based parameters. The LMH delay is actually the attack, the delay attack amount for all the individual bands. So that's turned off for all of them. And then the master's just off when I have still have saturation on the master. So this is not only the fastest kind of compression, because there's no look ahead delay, but the mid one has no attack, no release, no ahead, and no delay of any kind, which means it's effectively a wave shaper. I mean, the compressor is already a wave shaper, but this one is a wave shaper as we understand it, which is to say a thing that's designed to do distortion. And I could do, a wave shaper-esque shape like this to create the kind of distortion that we expect from a wave shaper. So I decided to do that. And then I also spread it, the stereo open a little bit and closed the mono on the low end. The low and the high end were actually untouched by distortion, so you still get the kind of clarity that you want to get out of that. But this was just kind of me dicking around. Not super duper important. What's important is this idea of ring modulating your ring modulation to create the Reese rhythmicness for everyone who's ever wanted to make those transformer sounds. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And as usual, here's XSplit, because I only have one monitor and I can't put this on the monitor. Have a nice day.